Like anybody can read translation one after other. You can read one para loudly.
Oh my, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of holy existence through the association of saintly persons.
So here it is mentioned, who wants to be fearful in this world? Nobody of us wants to be fearful. All of us, we want to be fearless. So how can we be fearless? That is mentioned by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Next paragraph.
Both in the day and at the night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the brain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and misery men.
So, like whatever happiness we are getting, it is like temporary. Like we get an ice cream, we eat, it's gone. So for that ice cream, like we have to struggle so much in general. So here it is saying that how for small flickering miseries we are like struggling so much. Next paragraph.
What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and the family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari.
So here it is said that how everything is very very temporary actually. Like we see like including like anything we take, it has a warranty in this material world. And even people around us, they may be very close to us, but at one point or the other time, it's like how as and when the train stop comes, we have to get down, like that we have to get down. But who is there with us constantly? It's Krishna alone. Krishna is so merciful that even let's say next life, if somebody says I'll get the body of pig, like a wife says I'll get the body of pig, husband, will he comes with wife? He will say no way, I cannot be a pig. But Krishna in the form of a Paramatma, he always comes with us, whichever life we take and whichever form, even insect form, like aquatic form, reptiles, even lowest of the lowest form, Krishna will never leave us. So he is that eternal friend, that eternal well-wisher whom we have. Next paragraph.
It is the desire and great longing of the Govinda Dasa to engage himself in the 9 process of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord,
which is accumulated in the heart from life after life. It will get cleansed off and we will automatically be able to form that love to Krishna. And what is that? Like you can ask me, like what is the benefit of loving Krishna? We can see without even loving Krishna, he's giving us so much. Like he's given us such wonderful parents, such wonderful upbringing, such wonderful like education, job, so many things. So imagine if we go to the father and tell him, this is the chocolate that I have brought to you. Even though father might not eat that chocolate, but he'll be so happy. Similarly, Krishna will be so happy and mercy flows automatically. So we'll start with today's session. We'll start with the prayers. You can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Ajnana Timirandasya.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya.
Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale.
Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Swamin Niti Namine.
Swami Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Pashatya Deshatarine.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
All of us raising the hands together. Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Okay, so we dedicate this concept about controlling the mind. So mind your mind, it will be from Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Bhagavad Gita, it's a very practical book. Today we'll see how we can help our mind be controlled by using this like life manual called Bhagavad Gita. We dedicate a presentation to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, because of whom Bhagavad Gita is all over the world now. And yeah, I welcome you all to this session. So it's a very nice session. It's one of my favorite sessions. So yeah, we will get started. So it'll come. So how many of you, like whenever you want to take some decision, how many of you hear multiple voices in your head? Most of us, like, yeah, let's say even when simple things like curd rice or pulao, let's say two things are there, and complicated things like engineering or something else. Like at every phase of our life, we whenever there is decision making, so many thoughts will come to us, and when we understand what are those voice. So we will try to today understand what are those voices, how we get those voices, and how we can shape those voices. So you can all repeat after me. Bhumirapo analo vayur Kammano buddhireva cha Ahankaram itiyame Bhinna prakritirashtadha. So this shloka is from Bhagavad Gita 7.4. So this is like we'll understand by this shloka we'll understand what the material world consists of. So what is Bhumi? Earth. Then what is Vayu? Air. Anala? Anybody knows? Fire. Anala means fire. Apo? Apa means water. And Buddhir, intelligence. And Mana, mind. And Ahankara, ego, false ego. So all these like five things what we discussed. Bhumi, like earth, water, fire, air, ether. You would have heard about this in general. Pancha Mahabhutas we say. So Bhumi, like earth, water, fire, air, ether, and three things we discussed: mind, intelligence, and false ego. Basically these are whose energy? Krishna. Who is saying this shloka? It is said by Krishna. These are Krishna's energy. So we will try to understand, like if you see Bhagavad Gita, so Bhagavad Gita not just deals with the material elements, it also deals with the spiritual elements. And the best part about the spiritual element is it is subtler. That is, some things you can feel but you cannot see. Something you know it is there but you cannot basically you cannot basically visualize it. And we are very grateful to Prabhupada that these spiritual things which would never be revealed to us, he has given it in the form of by translating Bhagavad Gita. So we see here that when it comes to these elements which are discussed, basically they're gross. Gross means we cannot touch, feel, things like that. So when we start with ether, so like the sound, you know whatever sound is there, it propagates through the ether. So whenever there is an empty space, then only the sound propagates. And this way we see sound gets activated. So the first element, ether, it propagates sound. Now next we go to air. So when it comes to air, so the sound is there in the air as well as you can feel the air, right? So along with the sense of hearing, what is added? The sense of touch is added. So two senses get activated. Now third thing is ether, air and fire. When it comes to fire, what like you can the sound is there and then you can touch, feel the fire definitely. And along with that, what is there in the fire? You can see the fire. So the aspect of vision, the aspect of visualizing is added in the fire. And what is the ether, then ether, air, and then fire. Now we saw. Now we'll see water. What is there in water? Sound is there already. We can feel the water. Touch is there, and we can, next thing what we saw, we can see the water. Along with that, we can also like taste the water. Krishna says like rasoham apsu kaunteya. That is, when we are thirsty, no matter what we get, at the end of the day, if we drink water only, we'll feel satisfaction. So Krishna says, like, rasoham apsu kaunteya, the taste of the water. I am the taste of the water. So, like, it's very easy for us to remember Krishna. Whenever we are drinking water, we can remember this taste of water which I am experiencing, which is quenching my thirst. It is Krishna. And then now next is like earth, along with like sound, along with like touch, along with like visual, along with the what was the other one? Taste. What else is added? When it rains on like when it rains here in Bangalore, so you will get various kinds of smells. But when you go to ground, like when you go to village, or when you, especially in our hometowns, we can say, when there is like rain, that too initial stages of rain, we see very nice smell from earth comes. So the smell factor also gets added. So in this way we can see, the more and more factors get added, the more and more things are becoming subtler. Subtler means like you can, the amount of senses that is getting engaged reduces. Like we see earth, we have all 5 senses that is engaged. Then there is water, which is like 1 sense is reducing. Then there is fire, then there is air, then there is ether. In this way, like earth, water, fire, air and ether, it is like already the things are going subtler and subtler. And above this, all above this is who? Mind. You can imagine how subtle mind is. Like we cannot even touch the mind, we cannot even see the mind, we cannot even like feel the mind. It's not like something like you can like feel it, and then you cannot even like hear, like definitely you can hear the mind, but not like from outside externally. So we see like as we go higher and higher, the senses becomes more and more subtler and subtler, and when it reaches mind, intelligence and ego, this like sense is like completely subtle. And you can imagine what is it like mind, intelligence is above mind always. Above that is false ego. Above all this is our spirit soul. So you can imagine, we are spirit soul, we are not this body, and it's very very difficult for us to perceive our spirit soul. That's why we see, even though we, like at least in India, we know that we are soul, we are not body. How do we know? Like we have in general, we see when somebody dies, what do we say? We say he passed away. So like in general, we know that the soul has passed into the next body, but it is very difficult for us to perceive it. That is because it is so subtle that we cannot experience it, that we cannot feel it. So it becomes very, it's like a magical subject which is very very difficult to understand. But this magical subject is revealed like in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. How can we perceive the soul? And next thing is like people say like see, when it comes to soul, it's very difficult for us to perceive. But mind, like we all speak, right? I'm going crazy, my mind is going crazy, and like I don't know, like my mind is like too much confusing me. So even though we cannot feel the mind, but we know that mind is there, and we know that sometimes mind does lot of good and bad things with us. And we also see that how when it comes to mind, the feature of the mind is likes and dislikes. And then when it comes to next level intelligence, the feature of the intelligence is right and wrong. Today we will see how like we will try to understand what is this likes and dislikes based on. So there is something called as samskaras. It's like some of you would have heard this, like in general, when we go to some relative's place, they say, or friend's place, or some elders will say, oh, you have got good samskara, or your parents have given you good samskara, like that they say. So we will try to understand what is this actual aspect of like samskara. So samskaras are something like we have that which the impressions that which we have got from so many lifetimes. So how it is so many lifetimes, so we can see like few examples I can give is that let's say in the previous life somebody has died because of falling from a great height. Okay, this life you can see they have that what do you call, I don't know in English, I don't know the word, phobia, but for that there is a very different word. So in that basically they have like they get very scared of heights. So automatically, it's not that something that is told to them from small. You can see even the kids, they have these phobias. Some people are scared of reptiles like snakes. Some people are scared of water. They don't want to go near the water. Some people are scared of fire. So how are these coming from? They are coming from our past impressions. Something has hurt in our past life. That impression is like being carried out even now. So when we do when we do some activity, so that activity leaves an impression on us, and that impression, it is so subtle. It is at the subtler platform. When it comes to earth, water, fire, air and ether, it's at the bodily level. And as a person dies, he has to live it with the body. No matter how beautiful somebody is, no matter how good health somebody has, he has to leave that body and pass on. But whatever activities we do, whatever impressions we get because of that activity, it gets carried on to the next life. And we see that one important concept here I want to share with all of you is something which all we are, in future we all will go, we will be so few of us are already married, few of us will go and get married. So there is one concept we all should know as girls is about something called as Garbhadan Samskar. So it's a very very simple and very very important topic in our lives, especially. See, sometimes we see people, we see our near and dear ones only, they have kids who are very naughty, who are very troublesome, who are too much. And sometimes we see people come and say that my son is demoniac. He always troubles me. He's he doesn't sleep at all. He sleeps in the wrong time. And sometimes as and when this kid grows up also, we see they tend to get unnecessarily, they'll fight with somebody, unnecessarily they'll hit somebody. All these are because of, it's not because the upbringing might be good, but even if the upbringing is good, if the previous samskaras are not cleansed off, then that problem of kid having those past impressions affecting on them in this life, that occurs. So what does it have with this? So what does it have with this is, when we as a woman, as a couple, we have a choice to beget kids who are very divine in nature. And why do we need divine kids, you can ask. One is for us especially. If our kids are peaceful, then we can remain peaceful. Definitely we have to nurture them, take care of them, all those things are there. But if the kids are above our control, we see so much of good impressions people, especially parents, will try to give us. But after one age, you cannot stop anybody from doing anything. You cannot stop the person from robbing, or you cannot stop a person from having some illicit relations, or troubling women, or so many things, murdering somebody. It is none of their parents have taught them, correct? So how did they get that? That is because they have that samskaras from the past. So for us, the important point is that how when a man and woman unites, what is their consciousness at the time of that uniting, that based on that consciousness we can invite a divine soul. This is a very very scientific concept. So in ISKCON there are so many Garbhadan Samskar videos, wherein we will get to know that how wonderfully kids can be begotten, and these divine kids can be a very 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 boon to the society. We can see kids we can see even if I have to give an example, we can give an example of Modi ji. We see in general politicians are so corrupt, but when we see even in that political field, there are some people who are spiritualists, also who want to do good to the society, also who want to do good to themselves by taking up spirituality. We see how are these possible, because they have come up, they had their previous good impressions and they have been begotten in such a nice way that now you don't have to shape them, you don't have to put much efforts in shaping them. They have already had the divine impressions. And we also see you can ask me how Varsha, how do you know all these things? Because I am associated with this ISKCON Center past couple of years. I also joined via this Gita course only past couple of years. Now in these 2-3 years I have seen devotees who have begotten kids using Garbhadan Samskar. They're so divine. Whatever mridanga I was playing, in 3-4 years they are starting to play that mridanga. How it's so wonderful. And there are few few kids, they know shlokas, they can learn shlokas in no time. For us to learn one shloka, like it's so difficult. Even though we would have come from the Sanskrit background, we would have studied Sanskrit, but those kids out of nowhere they learn shlokas, and whenever we go around they start singing shlokas, and to such a level that there are some kids who are very young, like just few months, and they cry. Nothing stops them. No mobile, no video, nothing stops them. And when parents sing Narsimarti, when parents sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they automatically start smiling, start laughing. After seeing all these things, this like concept became more and more firm in me, that yes, I mean, just by this concept of like Garbhadan Samskar, by taking up this simple acts of Garbhadan Samskar, so automatically we can beget kids who will be a boon to the society. At least, see, boon means what? At least they'll not harm the society. Because we see these days there are so many people who are harming the society in all possible ways. So at least as a responsible citizen, we should at least see that our kids don't harm us, definitely should not harm us, and also they should be a very good citizens of the state. And we see like via Garbhadan Sanskar, best of the best souls get attracted to the womb, and via that way we see like it will be very very easy to mold them, and it will be very what do you say, easy to bring them, give them a very nice upbringing. So as a parents, what will be our rule? To give them a very nice facilities and to give them very nice upbringing, and this is possible, like this will be possible very easily by taking up this Garbhadan Samskar. And second thing is these impressions, like a few of the impressions are like we see like people say like money is honey, so everybody like they want like our life is now, it is centered across money. So when we say, let's say I'm in my office, so actually like before a year ago I had work from home. Now because everything has come back to normal, I have to go 5 days, like complete 5 days I have to go to office. And the problem of going to office is you will be around people during the lunch, during the break times, and they will be discussing something. They'll be discussing about stocks, they'll be discussing about some new movie that has come, they'll be discussing about some murder that has happened, some political problem that is happening. So all these things are good. I have my own problems to deal with. And along with that, when we hear this, like especially let's say somebody is talking about something called as stocks or something like that. Let's say I have no idea about the stocks, but they say, oh, my money got tripled, my money got doubled. When they say, automatically our ears automatically they become alert and we start hearing them, and then our mind, there is some impressions on the mind. I said no, when we heard the bhajan also, it started with Shravana Kirtana. So it started with Shravana, with hearing. Just we hear about a new movie, then we want to go and watch that movie. We hear about the stock, we want to, even though we know there is some risk factor involved in it, it's just a waste of time. That impression is already, just by hearing that impression comes on our mind. Why am I saying you all these things? Because out in the world there are so many things that are disrupting us. So at least after this session we should be careful with what we hear and what we don't hear. And second thing is, you like how the impression works is, you can see the mall concept now. Earlier, I don't know, like if you can relate with me. So when I was young, so my parents used to send me to bring groceries. So I used to go in my ladybird cycle, and then it had a basket in it, and I used to go to the shop and I used to ask them, like, see, this is this rava 1 kg, this rice 2 kg. I used to ask them and they used to give. Now it's not like that. We enter into the supermarket and we see everything. We touch them, we experience them. Even though we don't need it, sometimes unknowingly we put it in our basket. How is that? Because we have seen the advertisements. Especially you see this car, if you see in general, most of the advertisements have women in them. Because women, like in general, like they portray in such a way that women are attractive. Especially the things like car or mobiles, we see like lot of women's, because they portray that product in such a way that it remains in our mind. So one such example I can give you is when we go to a superstore to buy a paste, what do we remember? आपके toothpaste में नमक है. So we will just, it just keeps coming. How is it coming? Even though you're not watching a advertisement at that point of time, how is it coming? It's coming because once you heard it, once you saw it, it's already stored. it remains with you for a long time. So that's why when what we see, what we hear, we should be very careful, because that can give us a very very big impression on us. And even even any product we see, like very very nice advertisement they make so that it remains in our mind, and whenever, even though we don't need it, sometimes like I restrain myself to in going to DMart, because I want to buy 10 items which will save me 100 rupees. That's why I go to DMart, but I buy 10 other items which will cost me 1000 rupees more. Most of the times it is like that only. So like all these impressions are like, they're very very, if we have knowledge about it, and if we start taking actions about it, we can save a lot of time, which we can engage in other activities which will like take us somewhere else, some to a good level. And if you see, like when it comes to mind, it is said that like you might be knowing about so many photo editors, so many like video editors. Any examples? Photo editors, anybody uses?
Nowadays is Google Photo.
Nowadays
is
it's
Gemini
just
and all.
Canva we had, and then some pixel photo IO and all we had. So like when I was going through, I realized that our mind is the best editor. Like, you will relate to me a lot. Like, see, when we were young, we used to be like, when we used to go to movies, so there were times, right, like almost all of us, we would have done that. We would replace, like when we were sleeping, we would replace that character with us. So we are like, even if it is a cartoon, or even if it is a like a small scale movie or big scale movie, so many times we have replaced. It's like a direct cut and edit, cut paste. We have replaced that hero, heroine, that actor, and we have just pasted ourselves, and we are running the whole movie with we being the heroine, we being the hero. So mind can do anything. So like mind is so wonderful that it can magnify the smallest of the small problems, and the biggest of the big problems, it can just make us feel like this is nothing. So it all depends on how you train the mind, how you perceive the mind, and how you deal with your mind. So today we will discuss about like 5 things which mind is troubling us, how mind is troubling us, and we will discuss about 4 things which are the solutions. So to make it simple, we've made an acronym. So the acronym is MINDS. If you remember this keyword MINDS, automatically you can see whenever you go through these things, you should remember that a mind is behaving like an enemy. M magnifies the problems, I infinite thoughts, N never in present, D distraction, and S stress and anxiety. So these are the things that are like caused by the minds. So this is what like mind does with the samskaras. Like we will start, like we will go one at a time. So magnifies the problem. So we all have come across like COVID times. So we have seen like so many instances where like initially like it was like a generic wave where we saw people are getting affected, they're dying, and then there came a phase where we saw that there are no beds available, there are no like oxygen cylinders that are available, and we were so scared that people were not scared to get fall sick. Basically people were not scared to get COVID. People were scared that there is no beds out there is no solution out there if I fall sick. So I was like hearing that people were thinking that if I get COVID, I will not get a bed, then like I might die and they may dump me in some like trash bin. So instead of that, let me only suicide. Like that, people have done suicides. You can even go now and you can like Google. And one particular case in Belgaum, I heard that like a wife got COVID, and husband the moment he heard that wife got COVID, his mind expanded that problem so big that he got an heart attack and he died. Just on spot he died. And what happened to wife? The wife, she just took the medicine, she recovered, and she came back. What you can imagine, like why am I sharing you this example? You can imagine what a mind can do with one small problem that we have. And in the similar way, mind, simple problem, it will make it huge, so huge that we cannot say anything. Has it any time happened to you that whole day is going good, something small happens, and whole day so many things have gone good, but this mind, what it does, it just zooms that small things, it makes it so big that you cannot think anything apart from that problem. And after 5 days, if you sit and think back, you will realize how small that problem was and how you had just wasted your time thinking about that problem. And similarly, you see, like so many, like these days, like even in attire time also, like the one of the highest number of deaths are happening because of depression. It's one of the top 5 diseases. You can see, like cancer is a disease, like tuberculosis is a disease, so heart attack is a disease, but you see depression is added among the first, like top 5 diseases which are killing like so many people. Top 5 means it is contributing to so many number of deaths. And if you see what is this depression is all about, it's all about magnifying the problem, which mind does. So the same mind which I have, the same mind you have. It's just about how you perceive the problem and how I perceive the problem. And depression is nothing but like the definition of depression is not having a short term or long term goal. When you like, have you noticed sometimes when you're so much in anxiety, you cannot think about what to do, what not to do. You just go with the flow and you just don't know where you want to end up with. You just become panicked. But if you see, like devotees, like especially when I came across so many devotees here in ISKCON, I saw that they're like top level managers and they're like working high positions in the company, but they're so calm and so peaceful. And it was like a surprising thing, because definitely there is an as and when the experience grows, you'll become more mature. That is one thing. But dealing things so coolly, so calmly, even in the peak heat of the moment, it's an art to learn actually. And I think we all should learn this act if we have to live in a society like this. Otherwise we will end up creating problems for ourselves. And if you see so many devotees, even so many of them have met who have come with depression, but just because they started doing spiritual activity, which is the nature of the soul, automatically they have just forgotten. They've forgotten depression to such an extent that they're so happy. They're so happy that they don't even like remember the past days where they were going through anxiety, depressions and all these things. So I just like noted a quote which says that instead of going to God and saying how big your problem is, you have to go to the problems and say how big your God is. So we see at every point of time, we see like the more and more we experience the mercy of the Lord, the more and more we see that God's hand is above all. And God can change any situation, like completely. He can change any situation. There were times where I was just hearing like couple of weeks ago that one of our mentor, her watchman, so they told him that some 4th stage cancer, it cannot be reversed at all. And then he went to one of the hospitals here, St. John's Hospital, and then there they said we will just give a try, and then we cannot do anything. But like he saw that, like I believe he was a Christian, so he was just sharing his experience that how even like when he went to the hospital, he thought that he will never come back alive, but because like he had that faith in Christianity, there is something called as healing power. They believe in that healing power so much. He had faith in that higher power so much that first thing that has happened to him is his mind did not kill him inside. So majority of the diseases, even before the externally the body declination, mind will already have killed the body. So because he was practicing spirituality so well, his mind was still positive. It was giving him a hope that yes, I will get well, yes, I will get well. What will happen with this? What will happen is the way the medicine acts on you, it also changes. So automatically you will become more receptive to medicines, and there is a higher chance of saving. So that's why we see like especially when I see devotees, I see more and more they are spiritually strong. I see more and more they handle situations so well. If we are put into those situations, either will be an anxiety or will burst out. One of the two will happen. But the way they handle, when I see them, like it gives me more and more confidence in these spiritual activities. And even we see like um, there is a statistics that this is in 2020, we can see 15 crore Indians are in need of active interventions due to various mental disorders they're affected by. And then almost 5 crore people, you can imagine 2020 statistics, 5 crore people were suffering. Now we cannot even imagine, like it would have tripled or 4 times it would have increased. So why am I saying you all these things? Because see, if you see our parents, our grandparents, did you ever hear them saying, I have depression, I have anxiety, I'm going through all these things? No, they had such a simple life. The modern life is making things more and more complicated, and the more and more we are like falling into the trap of these modern world mechanisms, the more and more we are just entangling ourselves into all these things. So what is the, like, let's say we have a problem, so instead of magnifying the problem, what can we do? So do you have a problem? No, then there is nothing to worry. Okay, then if you, yes, I have a problem, now can I do something about it? You can just, like, whenever you go through a problem, you have to calmly sit, because the moment we get some problem, we panic, especially with women. That is the thing. So we are we have more of emotional quotient than the intelligent quotient. So if we have a problem, the first thing we have to like remind ourselves is Krishna is above everything, Lord is above everything. And second thing is, yes, can I do something about it? No, if I cannot do anything about it, like I said, somebody is having a very severe disease which he cannot do anything about it. There is nothing to so the best thing he can do is, whatever amount of time is given to him, he can live happily, so that at least medicines will work on him and then he can extend his life, or maybe he can save his life. If you can do something, if you cannot do something, why worry? But if you can do something, then you just do it. Why worry? So actually, problems in our life are, every problem has a solution. Even I was hearing that there is no problem that, see, like everything, like what did we hear in the first shloka? Bhumi rapo analo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha. The last line was, all these energies are, it belongs to whom? Krishna. It belongs to Krishna. Actually, if we understand the shloka very deeply, if we understand this one shloka from Bhagavad Gita very deeply, we see that everything in this material world, including our body, it is under whom? It is under Krishna. And nothing can go above Krishna. So if we have this one understanding very clearly, we see any problem can be solved, because nothing is above Krishna. None of all our problems are materialistic problems which can never be above Krishna. So with that one thought, we'll get so much hope, strength to solve the problem, to face the problem. Once we get to come to a stage where we know, yes, now I can sit and think about the problem, what is the solution to the problem, halfway your problem is solved. Most of the time what we do is, we don't even end up there. That's why we struggle with not solving the problem. Okay, so this is a video. Let me just where are you?
अरे विवेक, आई वांट टू टॉक टू यू समथिंग. यस सर. चलो. अरे विवेक, आई वांट टू टॉक टू यू समथिंग. यस सर. चलो अभी तो तुम निकलो. अरे विवेक, आई वांट टू टॉक टू यू समथिंग. यस सर. चलो अभी तो तुम निकलो, मंडे को बात करते हैं. ओके. पता नहीं सर को क्या बात कर, कहीं मेरा प्रोजेक्ट तो नहीं चेंज हो रहा, कहीं मेरा रिव्यू तो नहीं है मंडे को, बॉस को कहीं पता तो नहीं लग गया कि मैं अपनी मंथली पीपीटी अपने इंटर्न से बनवा रहा. सर. हाँ सर, आप कह रहे थे कुछ ज़रूरी बात करनी है. अरे हाँ. हाँ, मैं कह रहा था तुम शादी कब कर रहे हो? उम्र निकली जा रही है। सर ये बात करनी थी आपको? हाँ यही कह रहा था। चलो चाय पी के आते हैं।
So we see like sometimes when people ask us, I want to ask you something, or when they ask us that like when they say us, I'll talk to you later.
I want to talk to you something. Yes sir.
So when they ask us something that I'll meet you afterwards, I'll ask you something, so we'll be in anxiety most of the times. It would have occurred to all of us, especially when we have done some mistakes. So if somebody says, yeah, I'll talk to you, almost like our intuition will say something is going to happen now. So we all have gone through it, and so many times, like more often than never. So we see that all these things are like very, like our mind, even though the repercussion is not so big, our mind will think of n number of permutations and combinations of problems, solutions, and we waste our time so much in thinking about problems and solutions that we will forget what is the goal. So all these things are happening mainly because like we are not what do you say, we don't have control over what thoughts comes to our mind. Our thoughts, like so many like infinite thoughts comes to our mind, we don't know which thought to address and which thought not to address. And if we see like when infinite thoughts starts coming, so when the control is in our hand, when we sharpen our intelligence very nicely. If we don't sharpen our intelligence very nicely, we fall prey to the mind. And then we see like students, we see like they have an exam, okay, and then they have learnt all 99 questions and they have not learnt one question, or they have learnt like 80% concepts and not learnt 20% concepts. Then what will happen is that they are so worried about that 20% concept that even though all the questions are from that 80% concept, it's not at all easy for them to write the exam because there's so much panicking about it. And like here also I have like included this site instance about the suicide. So like when it comes to corona suicide or in general student suicide, you see like it's a very simple thing, just that the mind magnified it so much that they couldn't handle it at all. And if you see about like students, see it's not the last benches who commit suicide. It's like even if they get 35, they're so happy that I passed. And it's the on the other way around, it's the people who are at the higher age, they don't get the position which they want, like they want to become first, second, or something, like they have aimed for a score and they have not got that score. Then they will like they most often or time, that's why you hear like more often or less all these suicides will happen in IITs, NITs. In local colleges still it is the rate is very less, because that's why the competition is so high that they don't even consider that getting little less marks doesn't just decide my life. But this small thought is not coming, this small thought is coming in their life, which is taking their life. It's because infinite thoughts are coming and they don't know which thought to address and which thought not to, because everybody would have got this thought. Everybody would have, like, there will be nobody who would have studied all concepts 5 times, 10 times. I mean, even if they're like very rare. So even there were instances like where you would have heard, like even in Karnataka, the CCD owner, he committed suicide. He like, it was a very simple thing, like he had some debt, and very easily he could have like come over the debt, but he was so scared how to face the society pressure. So many times it leads people to suicide. So one other instance that happened is like during one of these sessions. So usually during these sessions there'll be people who follow you up. You could know, like people would call you up sometimes, people would remind you about the sessions. Like, so we've assigned few like devotees who act like a mentors, who will be just calling you, asking you, checking you on how are you, all these things. Why we are doing, because in one such incident, what happened in one of the youth forum sessions. So in the midnight, one of the participant, he gives a call to the person who calls him every week every week he gets a call, please come to the session, please come to the session. And he confesses that I'm getting suicidal thoughts, I want to just like I just want to, I feel like killing myself, because they would have seen so many things, they would have heard so many things, and now they are going through so many things. So it feels like let me just, instead of facing the problem, let me just end my life. So at that point of time, he was just reminded about this person who calls him, who, see, all more often or less, when all the volunteers who call you, they're just like me and others who are like, who have got benefited out of this these sessions, and who want to help others. So when he called him, so he explained few concepts, how critical it is. See, if a body, this body doesn't belong to us, it belongs to Krishna, because like how we decided, earth, water, fire, air and ether is this body made up of, so it doesn't belong to us at all. So if we don't take care of this body, so I always give this example, let's say I give a apple to Priyanka Mataji, and then Priyanka Mataji, very costly apple, there were times when one apple used to cost 50-60 rupees, 70-80 rupees. So I gave that apple to Mataji, and then in front of me she goes and throws it to a dustbin. Do you think I'll give her that apple again? Never. I may give it to others, I will never give it to her. So similarly, this body is given to us by Krishna. Out of 84 species, topmost species is human form of life. Let's say somebody takes somebody suicides and they like end their body, so they will never get a body again. Why will somebody get a body again when they have not used it for the best possible use? So it's like that's when all these concepts of ghosts and things like that come. That is, they have a soul, they don't have a body. Without body we cannot do any activity. You know, you can see even a baby, it cannot sit idle for a minute. It has to cry, or it has to sleep, or it has to do something. So the nature of the soul is activity. So when there is no activity, you can imagine how much frustrating and how much troublesome it will be. So that's why giving up a body, committing suicides and all, it is like worst thing one can do to oneself. So he explained him all these things. What are the repercussions? Repercussions is you will not get another body. You have to just struggle like this for like so many lifetimes to come. And then he said that he asked him to chant in front of him for few times, and recited few shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, which gave him lot of hope. And then all the devotees, they chanted few rounds for him together, because you imagine like one soul giving up like life, it's a very big thing actually, for his parents, for his like relatives, for himself actually. Then when all the devotees chanted, next day he comes to the center and he offers his gratitude that just that one act, that one call saved his life. So all these things, why I'm sharing it to you, because even though so many things are happening around us, one is to protect ourselves, one is to save others around us. Especially like all these spiritual acts, we may say today we are strong, but we don't know tomorrow what problems may come because of our karma, which will weaken us. And these sessions are the ones which will tell you where to go when you get problems, so that you don't end up in all these scenarios. Basically that's the idea. And so first thing, what did we discuss about? Minds, M magnifies the problem. So small problems mind magnifies, and we will see the solution later on. Now mind, again, it always remains in between past and future. Like if you see, mind is never in the present. So the what was the second one? Infinite thoughts. Yeah, never in present, distraction and stress and anxiety. So we saw that how mind is never in the present. So our devices in our hand, it is devised in such a way that we are never in the present. If you see, like when we were young, you could have seen like how much more present we were. We used to go to play, we used to be happy, and like whatever activity we used to do, there was very less multitasking dealing with it. And the more we multitask, the more pressure we put on our mind. What happens is, mind doesn't stay in the present. Mind either goes to the future, or it always remains in the past. And like you can experience, like even though you were all in the class, is there anybody who can say that all the time my mind was here? Complete. I never, my mind did not go anywhere. Somebody would be thinking, oh, I'm hungry, what prasadam might be there today. Somebody might be thinking, oh, it's Saturday is like almost coming to end by evening. Sunday goes like Zoom. Weekends goes like Zoom. So again Monday I have to go to office. Somebody might be thinking, oh, that my bug which I have left, now I have to, after this session I have to go back and work. Some of the other thoughts, it keeps coming. And even the devices that we have, like how I said, laptops, like MacBooks, everything that we have, it is devised in such a way that we will always think of future or think of past. Even when you go, you can see, even when I was coming from JP Nagar, I saw there was a billboard. It stated that like dream home is coming true. So they are giving false hopes about future. They are just putting us either in the future or in the past. Especially if something goes bad, we will, so many times it has happened that even though we are here, even though we know that activity is important, our mind will just keep replaying that scenario so many times, n number of times, that we will become frustrated with ourselves. We will become frustrated with our own mind. And also we see like in general, mind, it never allows us to be in the present. And I was going through one book called Art of Concentration. Like last year I was going through this book. I just noted down one point from this book, that the simple answer for mind to do the activity in the most productive way. See, everybody will have this question, no? Especially we being IT like workers or corporate workers. So we all have this question: how can I be more productive? So because we just want to get done with our work and then have our own sweet time in which we can do other activities. So many times people like Google how to be more productive, and so many n number of answers will come. So in that book he had written, the simplest and the most working answer is, you just have to be in the present. That's it. When you are in the present and deal with the work that is in your hand, at your hand, most of our like work will be done soon. And you trust me that after I went through few action items from that book, I realized that in general my productivity got improved 5%, 10%, not 100%, because definitely my mind was going back and forth. But I realized, you would have realized so many times, you are in a deep work and then beep, some sound comes in the phone, you're just gone. Some blink comes in the phone, you're just gone. And you will just, our mind will go run infinite thoughts. Oh, who would have messaged? Especially if the name comes, still more we are worried. What would have this person said to me? Is there any some work? Oh, what is my mother needing something? Is my sister is waiting for something? So many thoughts will come. We will think, instead of thinking about these thoughts, let me just go and see that message. And it's just the start of it. You'll go see that message, then you'll go somewhere else, then you'll go somewhere else. It'll end up with YouTube shorts or Instagram shorts, and then back to like round one. You have started there only before half an hour, before 1 hour that work, and you're still there only. All of us would have experienced this. This is because this, like how I said, mind is not in the present. It is always like in the past or the future. And modern civilization, like how I said, it is so advanced that it is helping us like to always be in the past or in the future. And even earlier times when we were young, we see every morsel of food we used to experience. We used to see the taste. We used to feel blissful when we were eating. And nowadays we don't even know what is in our plate. It's like in no time we don't even know. And some other proofs is, let's say somebody asks you, what did you have in your breakfast? You keep thinking, oh my god, what did I have today? What did I have? Because our mind is so mindless that it is not giving importance to any activity that we are doing. And like how I was discussing that none of our parents or grandparents, they went to psychiatrist. And if you see foreigners, so at least in foreign countries they accept that. You know, like I had one of my friend I did my studies in Mangalore. So in Mangalore, from foreign countries also students used to come, and those students, like they used to very very boldly, very openly, they used to say, I have psychiatrist appointment this Monday, I'm going, like that. For us, going to psychiatrist, Indians, it's such a big thing. We will never share it to others also. Why? Like why is this? Because going to psychiatrist is it's like a taboo for us, because from our Vedic civilization, there was no need for us to go to a psychiatrist, because so much we were in the present that our parents, grandparents, we could see they might not even know what the psychiatrist would do, or I mean why to even pay for all these psychiatrists. So there were no anxiety attacks, there were no suicidal thoughts. You know, there people would either die of heart attack or some other disease, but never out of like suiciding. If you see our parents' generation, their parents' generation, especially as and when the generation goes like older, we see very rarely you hear about all these panic attacks, suicides, anxiety attacks, and all these things. And uh, even if I ask you, like, anything you do, let's say you put your heart into it and you be in the present, you can even experience yourself how blissful it is. Like especially during the weekdays, it's very difficult for me to focus on the prasadam. I'll be in hurry to go to office, to come back from office. All 5 days I have office, but weekends, weekends, when I sit and have prasadam, I ensure that when I am haunting prasadam, I think how this food is offered to the Lord, it is tasted by the lips of the Lord, how like blessed I am that I'm getting that food. And when I'm thinking, when I'm having those grateful thoughts, and when I'm honoring the prasadam, I see that automatically my mind is like satisfied and my body is nourished. Sometimes when you're upset, when you're worried, when your favorite food, it doesn't taste good. Have you noticed? Especially, let's say somebody's failed in an exam and his favorite sweet is rasgulla. You give him one full bowl of rasgulla, he may have forcefully, but will he enjoy it? No. So the thing that is happening is that from the Vedic civilization we were taught to be in present, but now we have to like break this cycle, and we have to learn to imbibe those good acts from the Vedic civilizations, which will help us at least to relish our own life, if not anything else. And also you would have all be coming for the sessions from past couple of weeks, so you would have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so potent, because if anybody is going through this problem of being in past and future, chanting attentively is the solution. You see, very soon, every day, let's say you fix a time, hardly one round, it takes 7 minutes of time, 7 to 7.5 minutes of time. You fix a time better in the morning, and then you chant the mantra. What happens when you chant the mantra? First thing is all your senses will be engaged, so your mind will know this is the time for me to focus. And the more consistent you are with the chanting activity, what do you do in the chanting? You chant the mantra and you hear the mantra. So when you hear the mantra, it means your mind should be present there. So you can try and experience, we all some of us would be chanting from so long, but if you sit and chant one round with attention, you can see that bliss you get. Especially before 2 years, I had been to Jagannath Puri. 2 to 3 years I had been to Jagannath Puri. There is a place called Siddha Bakul there. So in that Siddha Bakul place, when I sat and chanted, at that point of time, devotees around, they were saying that you forget the whole world, you just sit and focus on the mantra. And for the first time in my whole life, I could feel so much bliss that I always wanted to go back to that place to experience that and take that experience back. And why am I sharing you all these things? Because something that which is not costing anything, but it is helping you. What's the point in not incorporating it in all our lives? So if we and if we are doing it, we can try to do it more attentively, so that it will help us in all possible ways. And D, what was it? Distraction. So I was talking about how this modern world is keeping us distracted always. So we will end up seeing to see a message, but we will end up all over the YouTube, all over the Instagram. It has happened with me also. I'm sure it would have happened with all of you, especially when we are. Have you noticed when we have some problems, at that time mind troubles us the most to distract, because mind wants to run away from that problem. But after sometimes when you come back, you'll realize, oh my God, what have I done? Because best example is waking up in the morning. You will have all your plans set up. You will think, okay, this time I'll get up, this time I'll take my breakfast, this time I'll do my presentation, this time I'll go. And then when you get up in the morning, what does your mind says? Oh, late night, I slept little late. What will I do in the presentation if I'm not sleeping properly? Let me just sleep for 10-15 more minutes. You hit the snooze, when you wake up it will be 2 hours or 3 hours, like very easily it would have passed. And there itself the failure starts. Your day begins with the failure at that point of time. So small things which we are going through, if we know the cause behind it and if we know the solution, very easily we can tackle it. And then stress and anxiety, like how I was discussing that how I was discussing about mind, what do you say, magnifying the problems. And one other disease of the mind is comparing. You would have noticed, like comparison is like, see all this in IT we see this appraisals, no, all this appraisal is nothing but comparison. At the end of the day, most of the people would have worked good amount. So like in our company at least, there is a phase wherein there is a bonus phase where everybody gets equal bonus based on the company progress. And then there is a appraisal phase where people who are extremely highly contributing, they'll get. The thing is, this appraisal also, most of the times it makes us miserable, because sometimes we would have worked very hard, but because of the politics, somebody else would have got it. And even when it compares to when it comes to people who are troublesome around us. So we may think that yes, this boss is troublesome, so let me just change. So you change, keep on changing companies. Actually, based on what our karma is, that only we will get. So even I have noticed that one of my friends, she changed the company just because she wanted to skip her boss, and then she got this boss with the same qualities. Because whatever karma we have to go through it. It's already written. We have to go through it. But if we try to skip it some or the other way, in one or the other way, it starts coming. And mind, it has, like how I said, it has a very nice talent to cut and edit things, make things big, make things worst. So it is very important for us to learn to make our mind a friend. So what are the 5 things that we discussed? M, magnifies the problem. I, infinite thoughts. N, it's never in the present, it's always in the past or future. D, always in distraction. And then stress, S, stress and anxiety. So now we will see. Okay, what do you think? Is mind a friend or enemy? Okay, it's a personal question. Is mind your friend? Not most of the times, right? Very rarely. When we are giving mind very nice food, it is our friend. When we are taking our mind to watch something very nicely, take our mind to a trip, our mind is our friend. But rest of the times, when we have a big problem to solve, when we have a presentation that is coming up, when we have a deadline especially, so our mind, it becomes like an enemy. Now we'll see from Bhagavad Gita shloka what it says. Bandhur atma manastasya enaitatmaiva natmanas anatmanastu shatrutve varteita atmaiva shatruvat. Anybody can read the translation loudly?
For him who conquered the mind is the best friend. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
So Bhagavad Gita is saying that if the mind is controlled, then our mind can become a best friend. If the mind is not controlled, then our mind can become the worst of the worst enemy. So we see, when we see how to control the mind, so we can think about. Okay. An uncontrolled mind is like the worst enemy, because even though things are in favor of us, a mind can just change the situation. It can just flip the situation and make us feel like this is make us put in the danger zone, because of which we will not be able to do anything. We would have attained, at least I have experienced that sometimes our mind will put us in such a situation that we will become just freezed. We cannot do. We don't know what to do. We have so many things to do, but we don't know what to do, because at that time mind is acting like an enemy. Why is it? Because it's the uncontrolled mind. Now we will see what are the features of this uncontrolled mind. This is again Bhagavad Gita 6.34. Krishna is saying to Arjuna, Chanchala hi mana Krishna,
Chanchala hi mana Krishna,
Pramathi balavadridam,
Pramathi balavadridam,
Tasyaham nigraham manye,
Tasyaham nigraham manye,
Vayuriva sudushkaram.
Vayuriva sudushkaram.
Can anybody read the translation?
The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the will.
So here, like Arjuna is telling that. What is Arjuna telling? He's telling. Sorry, this is said by Arjuna to Krishna. Krishna says in the next shloka. If you want to know the solution to this problem, you can refer the next shloka 6.35. You can go back home and refer that shloka. So here here Arjuna is saying, how is my mind? It is chanchala. Chanchala means very flickering. Have you noticed sometimes our mind will be like duality, like do this, do that, do this, do that, like go to a trip, not go to a trip, like cook the food, not cook the food, let me order, like this always. The more we put our mind in those situations, the more our mind will be flickering. So you would have all heard of this statement also, that all the top CEOs, they have their shirts fixed, or they have the colors of the shirts also fixed. Sometimes they wear the same color shirt so that their mind doesn't enter into this flickering mode, which will just waste the time and it will waste the mind's energy. And then chanchala, pramati means mind is very ziddi, like very very obstinate. Like you can see sometimes we know that it's bad, but our mind says it's just do it. Like for example, let's say a diabetics person, he goes to a very very good feast, so he goes to all the corners and then counters, and then finally he go to the dessert counter. So what does mind say? Mind says one gulab jamun. Intelligence says just yesterday you have taken your dose, again if you take, you have to increase your dose. No, not at all possible. Like this war between mind intelligence happens, and if our intelligence is strong enough, then only we can win the war over this mind. Otherwise it's not at all possible. And then chanchala, pramati, balavat means very strong, so strong that like sometimes even though we know this is wrong, our mind behaves so strongly that we'll just fall for it. And then after falling for it, after facing the repercussion, we'll think back, why did I even do this? We will feel guilty, we will feel that we should not have done this. Like let's say a person who is obese, he eats something, he knows that I shouldn't be eating this, it will just put on my weight, because of which I may have more and more heart diseases. He would have even got the red signal that no, you should not be eating so and so food. But after eating, more than the pleasure, the guilt is more. That is because the mind is so strong that you will fall for it. You will fall for the activities of the mind. So that's why people say that my mind, it is driving me crazy. My mind is stubborn that it is not even listening to me. Like we would have gone through this phase also, college time, we want to study, but something else comes up. It is so strong, that distraction is so strong that we cannot tolerate it at all. So even Arjuna, you can imagine Arjuna, he was an expert archer. You would know that story wherein he will see the water and then he would hit the eyes of the fish. He was that sharp, that focused. He's telling that I am not able to control my mind. So you can see this video. It's a very nice video. Our mind is just like this. Our intelligence says no, don't do it. Mind. Sometimes our mind is just like this. We know it is wrong, we know it is not good. we completely know we are making a mess out with our life, but still our mind, it cries, it what it begs for attention, and then somehow it does it. So in this way we see so it's actually like how current situation, this is our current situation, like how Arjuna says it's very very difficult to control our mind. So there is this one functional document of the body. I'll just read the shloka, very beautiful shloka. Atmanam ratinam vidhi shariram ratameva cha buddhim tu sarathim vidhi mana pragrahame cha indriyani hayanahur vishayanste chu gocharan atmendriya manu yuktam bhokte ahur manashina. This is from Kata Upanishad. So here actually it is said that how our all the 5 horses, this if you have attended previous sessions, this picture was given in previous sessions also. The five horses are the 5 senses, and then this the person who is sitting is the Atma, and the ropes are the intelligence, and one who is holding the ropes are the mind, and one who is holding the ropes is intelligence, and the whole cart is a body. Basically this is a body analogy: body, senses, mind, intelligence, and the one who is horrified, you can see sitting in the back in the cart, that is ourself. We are like horrified with the way our mind works. So what is the intention of putting this is, if the intelligence is overpowering the mind, then all the horses, 5 horses, it will go like side by side harmoniously. That time the cart can move forward. If the mind is driving crazy, going haywire here and there, not hearing to the words of the intelligence, then a horse will go here and there. Imagine one horse going this side, one horse going that side. Can that cart move? No. And you can see behind the person who is sitting also, he's like very very horrified, because he wants to do something, his intelligence wants to do something, but his mind is not listening at all. So this is like our situation, like how I was giving that example of snoozing. So whenever your intelligence wants to overpower your mind and your mind overpowers it, it's like that is the time of the failure. That is the time you're making that impression more stronger and stronger. This is how when we say that we are procrastinating, we are becoming lazy, it is just because we are following that chain continuously. Today I snooze, tomorrow if I'm waking up, what does my mind say? Yesterday you snoozed, but you could manage your time, so today also you can do it, and tomorrow also same thing happens. But it takes high amount of intelligence to break this cycle, but breaking this cycle is the best possible thing you can do to help yourself. So how many of you feel that mind is even controlling me? I totally feel, because especially when waking up because sometimes you see like especially those who stay in PG or who have people around you, when like in your room, if you're keeping the alarm, it is like you're keeping the alarm to wake the next person up. So next person will tell, "Arre, please, you're not even waking up. You're not even turning off your alarm. You're just disturbing me." So this way we see like mind follows, like as long as you break the pattern of giving up your mind for your intelligence, for the intelligence to take control. Until then you will be always in trouble. So yeah, we will just end with the solution. Indriyanir paranyahor indriyebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe paratastusha. Can anybody read?
The
Loudly.
working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And the soul, is even higher than the intelligence.
So you got to know the order. So now we are approaching towards the solution. So first thing we should know is our mind is an enemy right now. Our mind is controlling us. It's troubling us. Now mind needs a master. So we have to figure out who is above the mind so that they can control the mind. Now what is, again I am not saying this, Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad Gita. First senses are there. Mind is above the senses. Who is above the mind? Intelligence. Above the intelligence? Soul. So we have to slowly come to the level where we give the control to intelligence and then to ourselves, that is the soul. So we will see the acronym MIND, how to control the mind, that is M is we have to make the intelligence strong. We will also see how we can make the intelligence strong. Second thing is, now you have to give up the lower engagements, take the higher engagement, so that you don't fall in that same cycle of giving up for your mind. Never trust the mind, because now we know our mind is an enemy. If our mind was already a friend, we can trust it. Now we know our mind is a culprit, so we should never trust the mind. And then fourth thing is, delete the previous impressions. So how can we make the intelligence strong? Can anybody share some points which you think?
Taking session, attending the session, and reading the spiritual book.
Actually, it is mentioned again in the scriptures itself that, especially why are we making you repeat the Sanskrit shlokas? Because these Sanskrit shlokas, they're in some that perfect meter that when you read the Sanskrit shlokas, when you understand the meaning, the automatically the intelligence, it gets little control. So the scriptures especially, it is meant to improve your intelligence. Because first thing is, scriptures are life manuals. They'll help you in all possible ways. Second thing is, like how I said, the more and more you study scriptures, the more and more you're giving control to your intelligence. You're not giving control to your mind. Again, all these things, when you do, it will help you. It will help you take a better decision for yourself and take a better control of your own life. And see, intelligence, what does intelligence do? Like how I said, mind works on the basis of likes, dislike. I like this, that's why I want to do. I don't like this, that's why I don't want to do. Now let's say like when you want to chant, so your mind says, oh, you just brush your teeth and chant. Then mind says, you just take bath and chant. Mind says, you just have the breakfast and chant. Then mind says, no, you just finish your work and chant. Then you finish the work, come back. Mind says, oh, you're tired, you just have food and chant. After having food, do you think anybody will chant? Never. No, it's not possible at all. So mind is like putting you in a cycle where mind is like indirectly like screaming that no, you just delay this, because mind doesn't want you to give the power to intelligence. Mind wants to become your gulama. So when mind comes under you and it becomes a servant, automatically control of your life goes into the hands of a third instance, which will just ruin your life. And trust me, this is what is happening in most of our lives. This is why we are procrastinating, not being productive, not able to take care of our we are not getting a free time to do things that are actually helping us go closer to Lord, which are helping us become satisfied, which are helping us live our life to the fullest, basically. So when we read Bhagavad Gita, automatically we will understand, our intelligence becomes sharper, because intelligence works on the basis of right and wrong. So we will understand what is right, what is wrong. Automatically, when the intelligence becomes sharper, mind takes a lower stand at that time. So it is something that's happening. All these are very at a subtler level. It's happening without our own knowledge. That's why we see if you see even like how I was giving examples, devotees especially, it's like they have higher control over their day. They know when to get up. In ISKCON especially, our day starts at 4:30 Mangalarti starts, and almost 90% people who are strictly following the Krishna consciousness, they'll be up by 4:30 and consistently over years, because they know that these are the peak hours of our time in which we can be more productive. We can become, you would have heard of Brahma Muhurt, they say. We can be more productive, more connected to Lord at this point of time. And second thing is positive engagements, like how I said, coming to these sessions, engaging in service, and then giving our mind higher engagement. Let's say there is a right now if somebody is watching a movie, let's say if somebody is watching a horror movie, those impressions are only coming in your mind, and same thing will be carried over in your day-to-day things. So that demonic impressions will come over. That's why you see, sometimes you would have experienced that we don't want to get angry on somebody, but automatically anger comes out, because these are the stored impressions which are coming in one or the other forms, and these are because of what we hear, what we read. So it's very important for us to give higher engagement. So what are the higher engagements we can give? Studying Bhagavad Gita, one shloka per day, hardly 5 minutes. It will sharpen your intelligence, it will control your mind. Second thing is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Like how I said, being in the present, if you want to learn, best possible thing we can do is by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra attentively. Chant and hear the mantra. And third thing is coming to these sessions, engaging in some service, engaging your senses in service. So when senses are already engaged in service, automatically the rest of the higher things falls in place. So this way. And then never trust the mind. So when mind says, okay, chant later, okay, sleep now, do this work later. So it is said that when we take a stand and do that, just say the mind, just do it. So the more and more frequency, with more and more, you can try this actually. This is very practical. It's not something that I am telling. It's something that's proved and tested also. Whenever you try to break a cycle by, it's said that whenever you want to do some activity, you should say 1, 2, 3 and just do it, and then that work will be done. Most of the times, what we do, we just procrastinate. We say I'll do this later. I'll do this afterwards, and that afterwards, that tomorrow never comes. And delete the previous impression. So how can we we can remove, right now so many lifetimes impressions are there, so much of garbage is there. So how can we remove that garbage? That garbage can be removed only by replacing that, overpowering that existing impressions with the new impressions, with the good samskaras, with the spiritual samskaras. When we put good, the bad automatically goes. It is in the karma session, you would have heard that, let's say there is bad grains, so you start putting good grains. At one point the bad grains will be taken away, and good grains, whole your basket will be stored with the good grains, and this is in your hand. Anything else might not be in your hand, but these 4 things which I said, what are the 4 things? First thing is make the intelligence strong by studying scriptures, chanting, reading, hearing Bhagavad Gita. And then second thing is involve in positive. So whenever you see something negative is happening, so automatically you switch to some positive activity. You can see the difference yourself. And third thing is never trust the mind. So just do it. Whenever you want to do some work, your mind is saying, so the more and more you break the pattern and do it, you can see yourself stopping from procrastinating and being more and more productive. And D is delete the previous impressions. That is again, like how I said, by engaging in various positive activities, like this is just a recall. So by engaging in positive activities, automatically new samskaras come in place, old samskaras goes away. So definitely, all of us want to be in a state, like how today we were hearing the bhajan, bhajahu re mana Shri Nandana. So abhaya charanara vindare. So the more and more we engage ourselves in the spiritual activities, you can see the difference yourself. When I say more and more you engage, the more and more you engage attentively. That is the factor. Somebody might be doing it mechanically for so long, it might not be effective, but more and more you do it effectively, put your heart into those activities that you're doing, especially spiritual activities, you can see the difference yourself. So what we learned today is, we learned that we can control our activities of the mind, which are minds, that is magnifying the problem, infinite thoughts, never in the present, distraction, stress, anxiety. Does any one of us want this? We don't want to have all these things. How can we do that? By making our intelligence strong, involving in the positive engagement, never trust the mind, and deleting the previous impressions. And that's why we see every week, even without your own understanding, we were asking you, requesting you to chant, requesting you to read Bhagavad Gita. Even when you used to come here, we used to make you chant the shlokas, because those things are the one which will slowly sharpen your intelligence. And definitely, further from now, the level of the sessions increases, and it will help you more and more. So we can see Bhagavad Gita is a very, very practical thing. It has helped me. I'm sure it will help you all also. So please don't miss this session. So we will go ahead with the chanting. We'll do one round of chanting and go for the prasadam. Anybody has any questions, we can.